Hi, everybody. Andrew Muller here at the Eagle Forum Phyllis Schlafly event. I'm here with Missouri's freshest congressman, Bob Onder, who I've known for a handful of years through the St. Louis Teen Eagles Phyllis Schlafly student organization. And he just gave a great speech talking about abortion and the right to life, redistricting efforts in Missouri. And he's just been a great constitutional ally. Congressman Onder, I got to ask you about the government shutdown. This is what everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
As of the time of recording this, SNAP benefits just ended today, food stamps. What's the constitutionality of that? Is the left going to cave to the Trump administration's demands as a result of this and the pressure from people who get SNAP?
Yeah, well, again, the fight here, Andrew, is just over whether to keep the government open. And, you know, we should fund the government by passing 12 appropriation bills in the various areas, but that hasn't been done for quite some time. So what has happened again and again, 14 times under the Biden administration, has been to pass continuing resolutions. A so-called clean continuing resolution, which we passed in the House on September 19th, to just keep the funding going at current levels. And the Democrats are making all sorts of crazy demands in return for a yes vote. They want us to undo all the reforms in the big, beautiful bill on Medicaid. They want us to continue the COVID-era Obamacare subsidies forever. They want us to fund NPR and promise not to do any more rescission bills. And that's just a non-starter. But I do think we're making progress. I do think there are a handful of Democrats, I would say sensible Democrats, but at least Democrats in states that Donald Trump won, who I think will come around, do the right thing, and get the government open again.
Excellent. You talked in your speech about codifying Trump's agenda. What are some of the key things Congress has done, and more importantly, things you want to see codified from Trump's administration?
Yeah, we've done a number of things on the immigration front. We did them in the big, beautiful bill, and then we did them in standalone bills like the Lake and Riley Act. In all, I believe there were 29 Trump executive orders codified in the big, beautiful bill, also known as the Working Families Tax Cut Act. But we need to do more. For instance, the big, beautiful bill, the House version of it, completely defunded transgender care for kids and adults. You know, we should not be paying for sex change operations at a time when we have a $37 trillion debt. The big, beautiful bill also, the House version, also defunded Planned Parenthood for a decade. It turns out the Senate parliamentarian didn't like that, and we're only defunding Planned Parenthood for a year. But we need to do more of that because, let's face it, Trump has done many, many good things by executive order, but the next Democrat president could just undo those things.
Exactly. Final question. You said in your speech you just gave here at the Eagle Council that there was one thing you differed with on the Trump administration on pro-life, and that was IVF. And I think you made a really good convictional stance about that from a pro-life perspective about all these babies that are just being left in test tubes. Can you kind of, just in a nutshell, explain that difference you have with the Trump administration and what your thoughts are on IVF?
Yeah, the Trump administration, seems to believe that being, pro-family means to assist families with the problem of infertility. I would agree with that, of course. I think there are many causes of infertility, I think, that are often ignored by the so-called IVF specialists, like endometriosis or like hormonal imbalances. But yeah, the idea of conceiving many, many babies in test tubes when only a tiny number of those will survive. You see, the process of harvesting eggs, from women involves harvesting many eggs, sometimes dozens, and generally they all get fertilized because unfertilized eggs don't keep very well in the deep freeze. It's kind of crude that we're talking about this when we're talking about human life. So I think there are big pro-life concerns about IVF, and I think there are better ways to promote family formation and to treat infertility than going right to IVF.
Excellent. Congressman Bob Onder, thank you so
very much.
Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back with more coverage.